freshman. And one thing from last year that a little bit of that veteranship from some of their seniors is going to be able to help is the fact that you were so streaky last year. You go on 3-game, 4-game win streaks, but then go on those 4- and 5-game losing streaks. Something that the veterans and the young guns of the freshmen would be able to kind of settle down at moments and say, hey, we may have lost 2 in a row. Let's not get onto a losing streak here. And on the other hand, let's keep riding this high when you have those win streaks and try to keep that going.
Salisbury last year, it was kind of a struggle to get things going offensively. They averaged about 55.5 points per game. That was 3.2 points less than they allowed. So, you have to try and get your offense back in tow if you want to try and look towards winning games. And that kind of ties into this Washington College team because, man, they are strong on that defensive end. They're one of the top 10 best defensive teams in the country from 2024. One of the best defensive teams.
They played to a 17-10 record and only scored 70-plus points twice the entire season. So the fact that they were able to hold opponents so low, you see on your screen right there, 47.5, sixth best in Division III. That just shows that they don't need a high-powered offense to win. They could score 50, 60 points and still beat opponents and play to a 17-10 record.
And of course, this rivalry has only heated up in the recent years between the Shore Women and the Seagulls. Washington College does own the all-time record 4-2 in favor of the Shore Women after their 2 victories that they got that we talked about earlier in 2024. But if Salisbury is looking to try and break that winning streak that the Shore Women are on right now, they're going to have to rely on some of their key returners that we talked about a little bit earlier. And who else but the junior from Medford in Nicole Miller. She is really the offensive star of this Salisbury team.
Yeah, and the first team all coast-to-coast player last year, averaged double figures in the points category. She also will get up there with the rebounds every once in a while, but Coach Guy has said for years, if Miller gets the ball in her hands, she wants her to score. And she has been the focal point of that offense. Being one of the few to average double figures in the last couple of years, Miller shows that she is that top offensive piece.
And especially when you think back to the home game against CNU last year, a ranked captain's team, Nicole Miller was able to drop 28 points against the captains in the late season matchup. Meanwhile, on the other side for Washington College, they're going to have to rely on somebody that they've relied on a lot. It's the senior from Linwood, New Jersey, and Caitlin Boggs.
Yeah, well, the second team All-Centennial player from last season. She does it with her height. One of the few players that reaches over 6 foot in the Centennial and the only one on this Washington College team. And, she uses that height. Last season, 8 blocks in 1 game against the Seagulls, and getting the ball inside is going to be difficult against the captain in Boggs, but she can do it both on the offensive end and on the defensive end, averaging nearly a double-double last season.
Part of what makes that Washington College defense so superb and tough to go against. It's going to be a fun one here that we got here inside the Mags Physical Activity Center. We will send it down to the court side for our public address announcer to get us started here in 2025-2026. Will DeBoer, take it away.
Salisbury University in the Mags Physical Activity Center for the opening weekend of the 2025-26 NCAA basketball season. Today's first matchup features the Shore Women of Washington College and your Seagulls of Salisbury University. At this time, we ask you please rise for gentlemen to remove your caps as we honor America and those who fight to protect it for the flying of our Star-Spangled Banner. let's meet today's starting lineups. First, the visiting Washington College Shorewood. At center, 6'2" senior from Linford, New Jersey, number 4, Caitlin Boggs. At one guard, 5'5" senior from Wilmington, Delaware, number 5, Abby Meredith. At one guard, 5'9" senior from Washington, D.C., number 13, Anna Robinson. At 5'10" sophomore from Willow Grove, Pennsylvania, number 34, Sarah O'Leary. And guard, 5'6" junior from Redmond, Pennsylvania, number 41, Caitlin Berger. The assistant coaches for Washington College are Abby Gaffney, Carrie Kilmer, and Jillian Coleman. The head coach of the Shorewomen, now in her 13th season, is Alicia Mosley. And now, let's meet and greet your Salisbury Seagulls. At one guard, a 5'4" junior from Belleville, Pennsylvania, number 4, Katura Stewart. At the flex, a 5'10" junior from Gaithersburg, Maryland, number 20, Jen Drury. At forward, 5'11" senior from Sparks, Maryland, number 23, Kayla Nieberlein. At guard, 5'10" junior from Medford, New Jersey, number 24, Nicole Miller. And guard, 5'7" junior from Lansdale, Pennsylvania, number 42, Abby Plugger. This is coach of the sophomore guard, Alex Bull. Then coach of the Seagulls, now in her 3rd season with a early goal, April Brewer-Guy. And now fans, get out of the inside of Seagulls basketball.
And there are no better words in sports than opening day. It is the season opener here for Salisbury University women's basketball. In game number 1 of a doubleheader, men's basketball will take on Stockton University a little bit later on. But right now we have the war on the shore between Salisbury University and Washington College. Salisbury in their home whiteouts, Washington College in their road blackouts.
Yeah, and both these teams coming in with a very similar game plan. You look at the Washington College side, they are very guard heavy, a very small lineup. They are going to move. They're going to get them on the run. We talked about it pregame. The 6'2" center, Caitlin Boggs, the only player over 6 foot. And in the starting lineup, you only have 1 forward and 1 center, 3 guard lineup for the Shore women. And for Salisbury, you know they like to run, including Miller and Katura Stewart are going to be your main focal pieces on the offensive end.
So your starting lineups for both sides. For Salisbury, it will be Juring, Nieberlein, Miller, Stewart, and Plugger. For Washington College, it will be Robinson, O'Leary, Boggs, Berger, and Meredith. For opening tip-off here in 2025-2026, the Seagulls will elect to send Kayla Nieberlein. Nieberlein standing at 5'11", the senior from Sparks, Maryland. We'll look to try and get the opening tip-off for Salisbury, and the season is underway. Instead, it will be, of course, the captain of this Washington College team in Boggs winning the opening tip-off. Washington College will set up with Boggs at the top of the key. Boggs passes over to O'Leary. Tries to swing it underneath. It's guarded heavily by Miller, and Plugger getting in between the passing lanes to try and break it up. Salisbury with some early defensive pressure against Washington College. It will be Berger to inbound.
Yeah, a team that's going to run fast is prone to make a couple of mistakes, and getting in front of those passing lanes is going to be uber important for this Seagulls team.
They were able to find the passing lane from Boggs on the connection ultimately to Robinson, but the whistle blew the play dead and invalidated the score. So a defensive stop is how the 2025 season begins. Kisa Lilly will bring the Seagulls back across midcourt. Here's Nicole Miller towards the left wing, now Plugger on the right. Plugger drives in, tries to find an underneath passing lane to Juring, who keeps it alive. Lilly now driving in, finds Nieberlein in the paint. Kick out to Juring, her three-pointer is pure. Jen Juring drills from deep, puts the goals up by 3. Now here comes Washington College, driving all the way through is Robinson, and the foul. So again, back-to-back offensive drives for Washington College stalled out by contact in the paint.
Yeah, getting in tight. Looks like Washington College is trying to jump in and get it through.
Here's Miller's three-pointer just off the front iron. Seagulls able to rebound. Here's Lilly for the attempt to put back, but the foul will send Lilly to the line. Meredith commits the foul, and now Lilly will go to the line, a career 50% free throw shooter from last year. She can't knock down the first one.
Somewhere where Salisbury had some room for improvement last year, only 71% from the free throw stripe.
Now Lilly's second attempt does go through and rattles around, puts the Seagulls up by 4. So far, the Seagull defense able to show some toughness through the first 2 possessions for Washington College. They'll look to go on a fast break. End-to-end offense results in a Boggs layup that scores.
And that's going to be the consequence if you're going to run that full court defense. It works and causes a lot of turnovers, but the second they get across that half court stripe with a couple of chances.
Plogger's three-pointer hits off the backboard and rims out. And Washington College gets the benefit of the call this time around. Juring draws the first Seagull foul. Now Washington College begins in their own end. Long-range pass from Berger ultimately connects on Meredith. Meredith double guarded, now drives to the paint. Keeps it herself and instead goes towards the near side corner underneath pass, which is a layup with the foul. Call it off. Again, Washington College with the extremely physical play that has taken away what could have been their leading points so far if all of them counted.
Yeah, and we saw Salisbury last year do a big emphasis on drawing those offensive fouls and getting in front of a couple of those big players. That's what you do when you have a smaller and shorter lineup than the other team.
Looked like there might have been a preemptive buzzer after the play. Seagulls lead 4-2. Salisbury was able to get their first points off of a big three-pointer from Jen Juring. And then, of course, the Seagulls were able to get a free throw a little bit later on. The Maroon and Gold will begin with possession when the play resumes. 8 minutes left here in the first. As they try and figure out exactly what's going on down there on the side table. We'll take a second to tell you about the upcoming games here on the Seagull Sports Network to catch all your favorite teams in action. As we mentioned, the women's soccer tournament is hosting their championship tomorrow. Men's basketball will play later today against the Stockton Ospreys at 3:30 before playing again against Hampton-Sydney on Wednesday the 12th. Here's Abby Plogger driving into the paint. Now kicks out Juring. She got the first points. Plogger gets it back deeper inside. Drives into the paint. Underhand layup just too strong. Washington College on the defensive rebound. They'll go the opposite way. Now here's Robinson setting up to Boggs. Quick passing from the Shore women so far. Here's Berger. Berger drops to the outside to Robinson. Robinson guarded by Juring. 9 on the shot clock. They got to hurry. And a poke through. Draws the foul from Nieberline. Washington College a little bit off kilter on their offensive side. They got within 10 seconds of the shot clock and realized the urgency that they had. Now they get a fresh 20.
Yeah, playing down to the edge of the shot clocks. You don't want to reach too much and try to cause those turnovers when they're deep in the shot clock because they have to force up a bad shot when they take their time getting there.
Berger tried to connect on a loft pass to Sarah O'Leary, who was crashing into the paint. Passing just not really looking too great when you have to pass it underneath for Washington College so far. Here's Kisa Lilly driving in. The layup goes off the back iron and out. But after the contact, Kisa Lilly will get to inbound. Seagulls still lead by 2. After almost 3 minutes have transpired, here's Plogger, who gives a immediate pass back to Nieberline in the paint. And Washington College, the great defense by Caitlin Boggs, breaks up the play and turns the ball over. More full court press defense from the Salisbury Seagulls here. Washington College, long range passes here so far. They connect with Meredith. Meredith, mid-range jumper off the front end. Salisbury on the rebound. Kisa Lilly on the fast break. Waits for the offense to catch up. And now here's Juring at the near side wing. Lilly on the change around. Miller towards the Washington College bench. Nicole Miller driving in. She doesn't really pass all too much. AJ Tier mentioned if she gets the ball in her hand, she's going to try and attempt the shot. Here's Lily's three-point shot. Too strong. Plugger on the rebound. She'll try and drive it back in. Here's Lily back out to the three-point line again. She'll change up the play and the offense will adjust. Lily driving in now. Kick back out to Juring at the top. Lily, three-point shot off the front. Time was expiring on the shot clock. There was 7 to go when Lily took the option to lob it towards the rim. Now here's Washington College with the opportunity. Berger allowing the offense to shift around. O'Leary, 14 on the shot clock. Meredith. Meredith guarded by Lily. Sends her offense in motion. Tries to go around the screen, but Jen Juring, the brick wall right there to stop her in her tracks. Some substitutes waiting in the wings for both sides. And they will bring them in for Salisbury. It will be Nadia Bullock. And for Washington College, it will be Maggie Lawrence. And you hear the rounds of applause here inside of Mags. That's because Nadia Bullock has battled back from injury for the last 2 years, did not see any playing time. And she really credited her teammates for getting her back towards her senior season and getting back in the swing of things as Kisa Lilly intercepts that attempted pass from Washington College. Bullock, the senior, one of the senior leaders of this team. Now here's a pass to Nieberline. Bullock driving into the paint through the contact. Draws the foul, and Bullock will go to the line. You see that brace on her leg. That was the injury that she's been rehabbing for the past 2 years. What an inspirational story to see the senior back out there.
Yeah, what a story. Just battling back. If you're an athlete, you know how hard it is to battle back from injury for just one season of being sidelined. How about the 2 for Bullock?
Bullock's first free throw is a little bit too far to the right. So far, Salisbury 1 for 3 from the charity stripe as they nurse a 4-2 lead. The second attempt from Bullock rims out. Washington College elects to make another substitution. They send in the sophomore guard, Taylor Shane.
And with this full court defense from Salisbury, you need to have fresh legs out there at all times if you're the Shore women. So going to their bench early and having their 6th, 7th, and 8th men coming in, that's going to be extremely important for them.
There is Meredith, who is driving into the paint for Washington College before the foul was drawn. Evelyn Steele, the 6'4" freshman for Salisbury, committing the foul there. That will send Meredith to the line for Washington College. And she knocks down the first, make it a 1-point game now. The first points that we've seen since all the way back at the 7-minute mark. And now Washington College has tied this one back up after back-to-back free throws convert for Abby Meredith. Here's Kisa Lilly driving in underneath, pass to Evelyn Steele. Steele uses the size and gets it down.
This Salisbury team can outsize the Shore women and showing it right there, making a huge play early.
Here's Lilly on the putback after the turnover. Back-to-back layups for the Seagulls to put them up by 4.
Full court defense is so hard to break, especially when you are not able to get something going right off of the inbound and get a play drawn up. It causes those easy turnovers so close to the basket.
Now here's Meredith going against Plugger. She gets met by Lilly, tries to lob it up. It didn't hit anything, so the clock stays where it is. Now here's an opportunity for Lawrence. And as you hear, she took too many steps, was a little bit flustered off the defense, and the combination for the Seagulls there. And it's looking pretty good for Salisbury here going into the first media timeout.
Yeah, and you just need that energy that can be built off of a turnover right in front of your basket in the backcourt. They got that energy and were playing with it, and now Washington College, a much-needed media timeout for them.
So Salisbury leads 8-4 through the first 12 points of action here in the season opener. Salisbury University would like to thank its sponsors and corporate partners of Seagull Athletics. They are Hopper's Tap House, Island Creamery, M&T Bank, Pepsi, Preston Automotives, Burger King, Serve Pro of the Lower Eastern Shore, Specific Gravity Pizzeria and Beer Joint, University Park Apartments, Crimson Coward, Service Master, Pohanka of Salisbury, Royal Farms, the Residence Inn, and the Courtyard by Marriott. We appreciate all that you do for Seagull Athletics. Well, it was a deep three-pointer that started the Seagulls scoring from Jen Juring a little bit earlier on in the contest. And ever since then, we had a little bit of a dry spell regarding points. A lot of drives were invalidated for Washington College because of fouls that were committed in the paint. That's got to be something that you're seeing with Washington College in their huddle right now. We have to clean up the physical plays that result in fouls and take away our points.
Yeah, they're getting down low into the paint, but you've seen 2 offensive fouls, and then the one where they drop the ball far too low below their waist, easily tied up by the Salisbury defender and getting the jump ball, and the possession arrow changes off towards way of Salisbury. So they need to clean up how they're doing down there in the paint. You already know you're outside, so you can't make silly mistakes when you're down there.
Here's Lily to Plogger, her three-point attempt off the backside. Salisbury is going to continue to try and look towards that three-point shot. Plogger has been a consistent three-point shooter for them so far. Here's Washington College on the response, but the attempt by Taylor Shane was too far right. More contact underneath the basket will send Washington College to the line in Maggie Lawrence.
Yeah, and Miller just battling down there. Coming in from behind, just got the wrist a little bit of Lawrence.
Washington College has hit on both of their free throws so far. They look to try and make it a 2-point game here. Can't knock down the first one.
And there's a couple of big players for Washington College that you are worried about on the offensive end, but it almost could be like a hack-a-shack. They struggle at the free throw line usually. 1 for 2 there, and they went 2 for 2 on their prior one, which is good. But later in the game, a couple of players that are big offensive pieces aren't very good at the strike.
Here's Bullock, who hands it off to Plogger. Now Kisa Lilly passes up the three-point attempt, instead drives to the lane and finishes off the glass. Katura Stewart, driving in there to put that one away. The Cowley College transfer. And through the contact, Abby Plogger drew. Salisbury able to get another benefit of hard contact underneath the basket.
And Maggie Lawrence continues to go too hard down low and keeps getting those offensive fouls. At some point, Coach Mosley is going to have to tell her sophomore forward to ease up a little bit down there because you're causing these offensive turnovers.
Now here's Plogger, gets it to Bullock. Bullock to the top and Steele. Steele tries for her own three-pointer, too far near. So the first three-point attempt for Evelyn Steele. Once again, the 6'4" freshman from Gaithersburg, Maryland. As Kisa Lilly checks into the game for the Seagulls, as will Cash for Washington College. Amaya Cash gets it back towards the near court. Plogger on the interception on the pass. 3 minutes to go here in the first. She tries for a mid-range jumper. It rattles around and in. Abby Plogger gets her first points of the day, and that forces a timeout from Washington College and head coach in Alicia Mosley.
Yeah, and this might have shocked the Shore women and Coach Mosley a little bit. Your defense has been so good over the years. If you look at last season's matchups, Salisbury struggled on the offensive end and getting those offensive chances early. They already have had 12 points, and they've missed a couple of three-point jumpers and everything like that. So the score could be a lot more in favor of the Seagulls. They've had a couple open jumpers that have missed, but they've had even more go in. So right now, whatever all of Salisbury's offensive scheme came out in has completely shocked the Shore.
Salisbury leads by 7. It's 12-5 here with 3 minutes to go in the first. 10-minute quarters here in Mag's Physical Activities Center. 3 minutes to go in the first frame. Washington College still fighting against that Salisbury full court press. Bullock heavily guarding Shane on the drive. Now the rest of the defense almost caught up. Plogger able to interrupt the passing lane enough to get an off-kilter pass. They'll turn the ball back over at mid-court for Nadia Bullock to inbound. You have Kisa Lilly, the nearest one. She will get the inbound from Bullock as the rest of the offense sets up. Now near side Plogger. Plogger driving in, finds 3 Shore women, and now Nieberlein on the mid-range free attempt. Plogger hits the deck as Washington College now drives the other way. It's only Kisa Lilly to defend. They try and go underneath, and it's broken up. Lilly again, here's Plogger now. Mid-range, pull-up, jumper, too far. Plogger will try this time a little bit further on back, and she's got it. A little bit too strong in the mid-range, perfect from deep.
Good rebound there from Nadia Bullock. Gets it back over to Plogger, the jump shooter, and she takes that step back, gets the extra point.
And there was a nice defensive effort, at least from Ella Inacio, to try and break up the initial put-up. Washington College able to clean up the glass on the offensive side and put it back for points. Salisbury leads 15-7 as the final 2 minutes tick away here in the first quarter. Inacio passes to Bullock in front of the Washington College bench. Long range pass to Inacio. Gets past the defender, and here's a three-point attempt that's just too short. That one came from Kisa Lilly as Washington College goes back the opposite way. Pass to the top in Cash. Nice job reading the defense for Washington College. You saw Abby Plogger kind of try and jump in to the passing lane and intercept it before tumbling into her own bench. As the Seagulls make another substitution, bringing Nicole Miller likewise for the Shore women and Abby Meredith.
Yeah, bringing in Miller to replace Plogger just bar for bar when it comes offensively. Plogger's had a good game, but Miller is your top scorer, so keeping that offensive pressure no matter who's in the game.
Now here comes Washington College, guarded by Miller. It was an attempt by Carter Soriano to put that one up for her first points, but Ellie Carter Soriano could not put it through. Here's Miller now. Fakes the initial dig in, less than a minute to go, and there's a nice layup for the Seagulls there.
Yeah, a little jab step over to the right. Had a defender fall into her back shoulder, an easy turnaround floater in there.
45 seconds on the game clock. Tries for the connection with Caitlin Boggs near side, or on the far side, I should say. A great job by Kayla Nieberlein to break it up. Washington College will get possession to inbound beneath the basket. Abby Meredith surveying her options. Goes a short route to Carter Soriano. Carter Soriano fakes the three and finds an underneath passing lane. Good idea from Sarah O'Leary to try and drive into the paint there. It was a pretty vacated zone towards the paint, but just too much contact from the Seagulls will send O'Leary to the free throw line.
This is one of those players that you like to foul if they get them close. 38% career free throw shooter.
17-7 in favor of Salisbury. O'Leary trying to bring it back within 10. She can't on the first one. She'll have one more to try and do so.
35 seconds left. No matter what happens on this one, I would assume Salisbury take the majority of the shot clock on their next possession.
The attempt just too short. Washington College potentially trying to go for that rebound to try and get 2 more points potentially. Here's Plogger now in three-point land. Gets it to Lilly. Now Lilly working around the heavy defense of Meredith. And too much time in the paint for Kayla Nieberlein. She kept on waiting there for the inlet pass from Nicole Miller. But the referee has the stopwatch. They're keeping an eye on that.
And Nieberlein, I've noticed from up here, has been doing that a lot. She has been called a couple of times on it, but that time went to the well one too many times on the long amount of period played in the paint.
Shot clock is dark, 5 seconds remaining in the quarter. Driving forward is Berger, gets broken up, outlet pass to Meredith. The layup is good as a buzzer beater. So Washington College able to pull within 10 as the buzzer sounds, ending the first quarter of play here in the 2025-2026 season opener between Salisbury and Washington College.
Yeah, and Salisbury has really come out running on the offensive end. If you came into this game saying, hey, after the first period of play, first quarter, Salisbury was going to have 17 points on Washington College, I would have called you crazy with how good the Soar women's defense is. But they've come out, they ran around, outpaced Washington College, as well as made them make some mistakes. We've seen it on that full court press, but we've also seen it on them drawing those fouls down low. 4 of them on the day for Washington College already, offensive penalties.
So far in the first quarter, the Seagulls are led by Katira Stewart with 5 points and Abby Plogger with 5 points as well. 5 total Seagulls have knotted up numbers for Salisbury compared to Washington College. They've only gotten 3 contributions so far. Caitlin Boggs and Abby Meredith both with 4 points. And of course, Maggie Lawrence fired home a free throw as well to contribute to Washington College's 9 total points. This is the season opener for one team here in Salisbury, but for another team in Salisbury University, it is right in the thick of postseason action, and that is that Salisbury University field hockey team. They are participating in the State University of New York Athletic Conference tournament up in the Empire State in the conference championship game against SUNY Cortland, and it's going so well for Salisbury so far through the first little bit of action in the Empire State.
Yeah, entering the fourth quarter now, just a couple minutes in, 5-1 in favor of the Seagulls against the Cortland Red Dragons, and really a surprise. Maybe Salisbury planning and game scheming for SUNY New Paltz to be played. We thought going into the postseason that was obviously going to be the championship game. It was really no contest, but the upset from Cortland has now allowed Salisbury to have to re-scheme, but it doesn't seem like it affected them all that much. 5-1 with 15 left to play.
It was 1-1 in the second quarter between the Red Dragons and the Seagulls before the Maroon and Gold were able to pull away. Here's a 3-point attempt from Washington College. O'Leary put a little bit too much mustard on it. It got almost wedged between the backboard and the rim. Now here's Plogger on the attempt. Nieberlein towards the top. Thought about it a little bit. Now Plogger will fake it, drive towards the near side wing, instead bounce pass out back to Nicole Miller, who drives in, underhand layup. The jelly roll from Nicole Miller falls through.
Nicole Miller can get it done kind of on both aspects of the game. She is a threatening three-point shooter from the back line, so you can't give her any space, but you also can't be really on the heels of your feet and not able to move as she drives into the net and shows how good she can be close to the rim.
Nadia Bullock will substitute in for Nicole Miller as Washington College will inbound with Robinson. Pass finds the hands of Berger near the Seagull bench, guarded by Plogger. Berger backs up and then drives towards the empty corner. She'll drive in, guarded by Nieberlein and Plogger. The combination will draw the foul. Washington College checking on the junior guard and Peyton Berger before she goes to the line. Seagulls back up to a decade lead, 19-9, as Peyton Berger goes to the line.
Yeah, now Nicole Miller and Plogger, both 2 fouls on the day already. Maybe you don't want to sit them the entire period, but play them maybe to that first media timeout with them on the bench.
Washington College very solid from the free throw stripe so far. Make that 4 of 7. And now 5 of 8 for Washington College as they make it an 8-point contest, 19-11. Here's Abby Plogger underneath, past the Nieberlein in the paint. Drives through 2 Shore women and scores.
Second time. Nieberlein going with the jab step, quick turnaround, and second time the Shore women have completely fallen for it. That time 2 of them.
Here's Meredith. Shore women had a little bit of numbers there for a split second. Nice rebound there by Washington College's Robinson before it just not able to get put back. Now here's Katira Stewart, pass to Nadia Bullock. Drives in, one-on-one defense through the contact, but they'll call it.
maybe got a little bit of a shoulder bump there. Referee gives it to the offense. Seems like they are really looking for those offensive fouls. We've talked about Washington College with 4 of them themselves, and then that one on Bullock.
Here's Washington College, gets to Meredith, and now to Robinson, near side corner, underneath, pass under the rim, bounces around like a pinball before Boggs not able to get the rebound on the attempted shot. Here's Katira Stewart. Stewart near side, looks to try and get a bounce pass to Nieberlein. She does. Nieberlein works into the paint, past the hand in her face. Boggs not able to lock it down on defense. Seagull score. And now there's a broken up pass. Salisbury trying to capitalize on it before the foul. They'll wave it off. Remy Tolar able to get in there on the inbound pass. Washington College a little bit sloppy towards their own end.
Yeah, and they're struggling to get the ball inbounded on that full court press. They haven't really had too much of an issue once they get it in, but they're just kind of lazy to get it in. Not too much off-ball movement. It's causing Salisbury to get those easy turnovers in the backcourt.
And maybe that's something that they saw Salisbury did coming into this game. That's why they've been playing that full court press defense so far, because it's forcing Washington College to be purposeful with the inbound and purposeful with the ball at the beginning of the play rather than when they get past the half-court mark. And now here's Katira Stewart driving in, the one-handed layup, bounces around and out.
And it's extremely tough, especially if you haven't seen it, and obviously no team has seen it. First games for both of these squads this season. It's hard to scheme that up in a timeout or in the quarter break. They're going to have to wait till halftime when they go back into those locker rooms and talk about it. And that's going to be difficult for this Washington College team, as they still have 7.5 left to go before you can get into that locker room. Salisbury already 4 fouls on the period, though, so one more away from Washington College taking some shots, taking their 2 shots.
So not exactly sure what the conversation is so far.
Seems like a wet spot down there right at midcourt.
Players did take a tumble there towards the scorer's table towards the end of that most recent play. Salisbury and Washington College both made substitutions on that last one, including the person with the ball right now, and Julia Andretti for Washington College, as well as Ellie Carter-Soriano, who drives in, looks for an outlet pass, and a save-me pass was able to be found before the shot banged around the backboard, and Salisbury rebounded it. Now here's Katira Stewart looking for a pass to Nieberlein at the top. Here's Plogger. Pulls it down, drives into the lane. The contact will kill it. So the Seagulls will have another opportunity to go to the line and earn some free points. Or no, they won't, excuse me. It'll be instead of Salisbury inbound pass. They say Salisbury was not electing to go for the shot, as Marcella Ortiz checks in for Washington College. Checking out is Caitlin Boggs, after the senior committed her second foul. Here's Plogger towards the top. Plogger driving in past the 2 Washington College defenders before taking too many steps. As he will turn the ball back over, Washington College begins in their own end. More full court press defense from the maroon and gold. Driving in, a nice offensive setup, but again, just taking too many steps for Washington College. That's kind of the issue when you have to start running that very fast-paced offense going from end to end. Sometimes you can lose track of your feet, and you lose track of how many steps that you take.
Yeah, and your body's moving faster than your mind is, because you're still calm when you're thinking, but you're not really realizing how quick you're going. Getting those extra steps is so easy, but occasionally you're moving so fast the referees don't even see it, but that time they were right on point with it too many.
Inaccio's three-pointer goes right off the back iron. And now Washington College goes the opposite way. Carter Soriano tries for the streaking pass to her teammate in Robinson. Washington College tries to lay it up inside the paint. Nice rebounding job by the Shorewomen there as they fight for position and possession of the ball. They'll call a jump ball. Salisbury will get possession of it. As Nadia Bullock set to inbound. 23-11 Seagull lead. 6.5 to halftime. Katura Stewart hands off to Plogger. Too many steps. She tried for the right side pump fake, but again, took too many steps. Plogger's been called on a couple of those so far today. That one, except happened in the Washington College defensive zone.
Yeah, Plogger's moving quick, getting those fast-paced scores. Has been in foul trouble, a couple of traveling, so got to clean it up a little bit, but other than that, great game from the junior guard.
Evelyn Steele with her second foul committed. She will sub out for Kayla Nieberlein, as Washington College will send Emma Robinson to the line. 23-11 looks to make it 23-12. Can't on the first attempt.
This is the second player you want to send to the free throw line. 29% in her career from the stripe.
Robinson puts up her second shot and goes too far. Washington College not able to get the rebound. Nadia Bullock able to get up with the vertical and pull that one down off the glass. Now here's Nieberlein. Nieberlein drives in, outlet pass to Plogger. Her three-point shot is green.
Abby Plogger doing it again. Second three-pointer of the day. She is drilling them from range.
Now the Shore women will go to the left. Trying to start that one off was Meredith before it gets broken up by Katura Stewart. Still in play as Meredith gets it back. Drives into the paint. Instead now to the left. Mid-pull jumper. Rims around and out. Now Salisbury slowing down their offense a little bit. They'll cross midcourt. Katura Stewart now to Bullock. Bullock surveying the option. Gives the play call and now tries to drive in. Through the contact, they'll wave it off. Again, too many steps that time from Nadia Bullock.
Yeah, took those steps, kind of Bullock going to the side, then tries to hit that pivot. Unfortunately, took the 2 steps before she hit that pivot. Easy call for the referee right in front of him.
Peyton Berger receives the inbound after subbing in for Washington College. And she will drive forward. Will Berger on the run, layup misses. The rebound and putback attempt from Ortiz goes unanswered. Now Nieberlein looks for an escape. She finds it. Ignacio now driving to the right. Plogger had the last three-pointer. Now here's Kisa Lilly. Calls out the play. Lilly hands off to Plogger. Now Plogger to Ignacio near the NCAA logo by the Washington bench. Ignacio, long-range pass to Plogger. 10 on the shot clock. Bullock, near side corner, finds Nieberlein underneath. Wide open attempt from Ignacio. Too strong off the front. And a nice putback attempt off the rebound from Nadia Bullock. She gets the points. And you hear it right there. Nadia Bullock's first points ever since her freshman year, and Mags is loving it here on the Eastern Shore as the Seagulls are up 17, 28-11 with 4 minutes and 29 seconds to go in the second quarter, AJ.
Yeah, and big basket for Bullock in general, but for the Salisbury team, nearly 30 points in the first half. We knew that coming into this season, they were going to be a much better offensive team. They have a lot more weapons, a lot more veteranship in this lineup. You knew this was going to happen, but 30 points going into the second TV timeout of the game, or 28, I should say, that is amazing.
And how about against a team who was one of the top defensive teams in the country last year in Washington College, 6th in points allowed per game. Salisbury's offense is really buzzing so far through the first half, as we want to tell you about the Maryland Army National Guard, where you can get a head start on a career in exciting fields, including science, communications, and engineering. The Maryland Army National Guard can pay up to 100% of your tuition so you can focus on learning. To learn more about the Maryland Army National Guard, go to nationalguard.com/MD. That's nationalguard.com/MD. Today's game is sponsored by Adams Tap House Grill and Black Diamond Lodge. Stop by Adams Tap House Grill on game day. It's where Seagulls fly. Well, the Seagulls are flying through the first half so far, up by 17 on their Eastern Shore rival in the Washington College Shore women. Mike Greco alongside AJ Polcari as Washington will inbound from their own end, coming out of the media timeout.
Salisbury still pushing this full court press. Even with the 17-point lead, they're not letting the Shore women get anything really schemed up in the backcourt for some half-court play.
Now here's the attempt for Washington College to try and pull back in. Robinson had possession before the whistle blew the play dead. There looked like contact that sent Caitlin Boggs to the floor near the paint.
And Salisbury continuing to run this man-to-man defense makes it really easy for a team to kind of keep pace, especially when you're trying to stop teams from running all over you. It's easy for a team running a man-to-man defense to not be cut off and caught off guard by the passes.
So Boggs, after the foul, will go to the free throw line. Salisbury elects to bring in the 6'1" freshman from Hamilton, New Jersey, Izzy Diaz, making her collegiate debut. Here with 4:18 to go in the second quarter, she'll stand right next to number 13 in black and white, Emma Robinson, and she goes for the rebound, can't quite get it. Everybody's pointing which way will the referees point. Looks like they'll give it to Washington College. Andretti looks for the inbound pass, and she's got it to Carter Soriano, whose attempt from 2 goes just too far. Salisbury again committing some fouls. That will send Washington to the free throw line. Emma Robinson going to the stripe.
0 for 2 on the day for Robinson.
Kachira Stewart will check in for Ella Inacio.
Big height drop there. Salisbury going small, looking to play fast and outrun maybe the fatigued Shore women.
They switch from a 5'10" Inacio to a 5'4" Kachira Stewart. Again, Stewart making her Seagull debut after spending her first 2 collegiate years at the JUCO level. The second attempt misses, and Salisbury comes up with it. Izzy Diaz with her first rebound in her collegiate career. Here's Plogger.
And you have Diaz in. She's the only really forward 4 guards on the floor for Salisbury right now.
Here's Bullock, now to Stewart, to Lilly. Lilly calls a horns down play. See what Salisbury runs. Bullock comes up on the screen, as will Diaz. Lilly drives in, the right-handed push-up. Not able to get it, and neither will Bullock on the rebound attempt. Washington College goes left.
Bullock trying to go up fast there. I would, with the foul trouble that Washington College is in and how much they have been committing those fouls, I would have grabbed it and taken it back down with you and tried to go up again. Most likely would draw a foul.
Izzy Diaz commits the foul, It was drawn by Caitlin Boggs. Salisbury continues to send Boggs to the line, 0 for 2 so far. She nets her first one. Make it 1 for 3 for the senior. Trying to go back to 50%, she can't. Now 1 for 4 for Boggs from the charity line. Seagulls set up their offense with Lilly. Hand off to Kachira Stewart to Plogger. Plogger back to Stewart. Stewart driving in, underneath past to Bullock. Bullock goes through 2 college defenders. Not able to get it close enough to the rim. Just bangs off the backboard before the Shore women rebound. Here come the Shore women driving in, and the layup is good. No backboard needed, went straight on bottom through. Here's Bullock. Bullock hands to Stewart. Stewart driving in now. Whole multitude of Shore women defenders in the paint that she had to get through. And it was inevitable that a foul was going to be called. The foul was committed by Andretti of Washington College. Salisbury and Washington bringing in some substitutions. Remy Tolar on the Salisbury side. Kachira Stewart to the line. She knocks down the first of the 2 pair. Stewart now 2 for 3 on the day. Only her and Nadia Bullock have gotten the opportunity to perform from the line. It's been a pretty good day from the line for Katira Stewart so far. Make that 3 for 4. Here comes Washington College. You look at Andretti. Now Berger. Berger can't find it. It goes off of, I believe, the shin of Kisa Lilly in the backcourt violation. Or it's Berger who's claiming that it went off of Kisa Lilly. That's what it looked like to me at first.
And that's what they're talking about up there at the top.
And they will award it back to Washington College on the incorrect call. Now Washington College begins at the midcourt line. Tried for a lob pass to Boggs. It gets tipped by Remy Tolar in the paint. Tolar trying to guard Boggs. She collects it, and that will go back to Salisbury.
Well, with that small four-guard lineup that Salisbury has out there right now, Tolar, the only person who can really stand up to the height of the 6'2 Boggs, and she does a great job there, knocking away the original pass and then not letting Boggs get comfortable down low, causing her to just have a self-inflicted turnover.
Remy Tolar, the 5'11" sophomore from Boulder, Colorado. Here's Katira Stewart's three-point attempt, too far left of the iron. As it's wrestled for by Kisa Lilly, it appears that she will not be able to come up with it. As Washington College will begin in their own end, we'll have a quick out-of-town scoreboard update. Field hockey officially crowned the Suniac Conference champions with a 7-1 victory up in the Empire State. Marley McDormand had a hat trick for the SUFH program as Abby Plogger forces the turnover and now goes coast to coast. With the spinorama, trying to get it through the two Shore women defenders, not able to get it through cleanly. That will draw a foul from one of those pursuing defenders in Andretti. Katira Stewart gets it back on the inbound. Now here's Tolar, mid-range jumper, bottoms out. Katira Stewart, nice passing to set up that Remy Tolar chance. Now here's an opportunity for the Shore women. Shane drives into the paint with the right-handed layup and the finish. Pulls it to 32-16 in favor of Salisbury. The Seagulls still have the Shore women points doubled. Kick out to Bullock. Her three-point attempt off the near side corner between the backboard and the rim. Marcella Ortiz called on the foul that will give the ball back to Salisbury with Kisa Lilly towards the R in the baseline. Remy Tolar, less than a minute remaining in the second quarter and in the first half. Salisbury has 15 to shoot. Katira Stewart calls the play. Begins at the top. She has Tolar on her left, which she will give it to. Handoff pass to Lilly as she drives in. Kick out to Katira Stewart. The call kills it. Kisa Lilly went driving on in. The referees didn't like it, and it shut down the Katira Stewart three-point attempt before it even started.
Yeah, and Salisbury making sure that they are going to kick out a couple of those shots around the driving in and then kicking it out to the corner. You saw Kisa Lilly there pulling her head and looking over to Stewart a bit too early and didn't see the person setting their basically a pick for the offensive foul.
Shot clock is dark after the turnover for Salisbury. Abby Plogger tries to lob it up. It goes right off of the rim and ricochets. How about Katira Stewart keeping it alive? Remy Tolar near the paint. She's got it. Excellent job by Katira Stewart to keep it alive by the Shore women bench. And now 12 seconds to operate for Waco. Mid-range pull-up towards the three-point line, actually, for Washington College. Too short for Shane. Now Salisbury will try for an Abby Plogger three-point at the buzzer!
and Salisbury 5 points in the last 10 seconds. Fast-paced offense, big amounts of transition from defense to offense, and it has completely shocked the Shore women. Salisbury up 21 going into the break.
The Seagulls are Suniac champions, and with that victory, head coach Dawn Chamberlain has now won 600 games in her Seagull coaching career.
And as you hear the live reaction from Mag's Physical Activity Center as they announce Salisbury's collection of the Suniac Championship, but not only that, it is head coach Dawn Chamberlain, the Hall of Famer's 600th career victory as a head coach. Just a complete historic win for Salisbury, their very first conference championship and their very first conference tournament as a part of the Suniac era. And you also get some extra accolades for the bench boss and coach Dawn Chamberlain, getting a pretty big accolade for her.
Yeah, I mean, Salisbury, you look throughout the entire athletic program, you have Jim Berkman, Jim Nestor, and now Dawn Chamberlain up there in historic range for the amount of wins that they've had here at Salisbury. And this field hockey team is now turning their eyes towards that national time of year, going to that national tournament and hoping they can bring home the Salisbury Athletics' first natty since the 2023 lacrosse season.
And even you look at Coach Wood, who got his 200th career SU victory just a couple weeks ago against the Rowan Profs in Glassboro. Man, do they have a big matchup later on today at 6 p.m. down in Newport News, a top 10 matchup in the Division III football NPI. We, however, will take a second to take a break here. It is halftime in the Salisbury University basketball season opener. Women's basketball leads Washington College 37-16, and we will be right back with second half action in the season opener right after these messages. And we welcome you back to Salisbury University women's basketball and the season and home opener here at the Mags Physical Activity Center. Salisbury leads Washington College 37-16 in today's contest, which is sponsored by Adams Tap House Grill and Black Diamond Lodge. Stop by Adams Tap House Grill on game day. It's where seagulls fly. Special shout out to Crimson Coward, who Salisbury Athletics is fired up to partner with. The Nashville Hot Chicken Restaurant is bringing the heat to our community, just like our seagulls bring the heat to the court. From country to burn, baby burn, Crimson Coward serves up authentic Nashville-style chicken that'll fuel your game day spirit. Whether you're celebrating a big win or need comfort food after a tough game, Crimson Coward has got you covered with flavors that pack a punch. Visit Crimson Coward today and taste why we're proud to call them part of the SU Athletics family. Crimson Coward, where bold flavor meets seagull pride. Hurricanes, tornadoes, thunderstorms, and other severe weather events can produce heavy rain and catastrophic winds that put your home at risk of serious damage. Service Master on the Shore has helped families recover from storm damage for generations. Their team of experts is ready 24/7 to restore your home and peace of mind. When hurricane season strikes, you don't have to face it alone, because when it comes to your home, you need experience you can trust. You can find them online at smontheshore.com. That is smontheshore.com. Salisbury leads Washington College 37-16 after an explosive first half of offense from Salisbury, including two almost buzzer beaters for their offensive sides on both occasions.
Yeah, and on both sides, we'll go into that offense first. The way that they are scheming up this offense is almost deadly to any team, and it's showing against one of the top defensive teams in the country from last year about how they're able to score. They're getting in close, a lot of off-ball movement, and then they're ready to kick it out to that three-point line or keep going in and taking that layup. That, split decision is causing Washington College to not be able to make any kind of defensive adjustment because you adjust to that kick out, easy layups are coming in. You collapse down low, that's going to be an easy kick out for a three-pointer, and you just hope that your shooters can make it. And right now, Abby Plogger, 3 three-pointers on the day. She is 3 for 6, I believe. I think she's got 50% three-point percentage, so she's drilling them. You know that Nicole Miller can make these three-pointers. You know that Katura Stewart can, so you got plenty of three-point shooters and plenty of people to distribute that ball.
Well, it's funny that you say that, AJ, because Abby Plogger is the only player who has made a three-point attempt after, obviously, Jen Juring opened up this game with a three-point shot in the very first scoring play of 2025-2026. Aside from that, the Seagulls are really just having a tough day from outside of the arc. As we mentioned, Abby Plogger 3 for 5, Jen Juring 1 for 1. Outside of that, nobody else has made a three-point attempt, despite, let me count this right, 12 total attempts just missing from three-point land for Salisbury.
Yeah, so they have 37 points, and that is the case. So imagine if some of these shooters will continue to start making some shots. If Katura Stewart can get in there. If Nicole Miller, Keisha Lilly can even make a couple.
So Abby Plogger ended the first quarter, or the first half, and she will start off the third quarter with possession, and now eventually Katura Stewart here on the near side wing. She'll try for a three-point attempt, and she has got it. Sweet string music for Katura Stewart.
Right on cue. First shot, Katura Stewart drills a three-pointer after we just talked about Salisbury's struggles from deep.
And now Washington College will go the opposite way. Obviously, both sides have switched directions. A nice underhand layup on the free kind of attempt there from Caitlin Boggs. She was left wide open and unaccounted for in the paint.
Yeah, and there was a little bit of a miscommunication there between Plogger and Stewart. Obviously, Plogger sizes up a tad bit better to Caitlin Boggs than does Stewart, but a little bit of miscommunication leads to a wide open lane.
Miller, an off-the-mark underhand roll, turns it back to Washington College. And just a shoe size too big for Washington College is Peyton Berger. She tried to toe the line like Toto, and she couldn't.
On the defensive end, something that I've noticed for Salisbury is how well they've been able to keep Boggs and Abby Meredith in check. The two players on Washington College, I should say, that were in double figures last season and really have done a good job of playing against Salisbury. The 2 times they played in double figures both times in those games, they have been completely held in check this game.
There's a nice move there from Washington College's Emma Robinson. She drove through 2 Seagull defenders. And oddly enough, Washington College calls the timeout after they get the points there.
Yeah, they want to know, hey, this is going to work, this isn't going to work. That timeout is to make sure that they can kind of build that momentum a little bit and try to get a defensive change. Now, head coach Mosley has seen what Salisbury is going to come out with on the offensive end, and the defensive end, something was schemed up at halftime that works, because 2 pretty easy baskets there for the Shore women to start out this half.
Dover Street Grill is always serving up the freshest food. Dover Street Grill is available for all your catering needs. Fresh, fast food with friendly service. Visit them at doverstreetgrill.com. That's doverstreetgrill.com. Also, you can get some fresh bagels from Bagel Bakery Cafe, the official breakfast stop of Seagull Athletics. Stop by Bagel Bakery Cafe each game day morning to get your wings ready to soar. Bagel Bakery Cafe, serving breakfast and lunch daily, located right next to SU on South Salisbury Boulevard. Abby Plogger was formerly the one who had 10-plus points in this contest coming through the first half, but after a big 3 to kick off the opening quarter here in the second, it's Katura Stewart now with 10 total points for Salisbury in her very first game with the Maroon and Gold. Of course, we talked about Stewart being a transfer from the junior college level, averaged 16 points with Jamestown Community College up in the Empire State of New York before traveling to Cowley College in Kansas, and had a little bit of a down year. Here's Abby Plogger, tries for a 3-pointer. Abby Plogger again. Who else?
4 3-pointers on the day. What a day so far for Plogger. She's got the hot hand, and Stewart and Salisbury going to continue to look for her.
There's an underhand lay, tough bucket from Abby Meredith there for Washington College to answer right on back. But of course, it's 2 answering 3. Washington College needs more. 43-22 Seagull lead.
And going down 21 at halftime, it's going to be a big uphill batter for the Shore women. You can go bar for bar with Salisbury and still lose by double digits.
Here's Nieberlein driving in through the contact, turn the ball back over to Washington College. Great defense from Emma Robinson.
Yeah, surprised they call the offensive foul. I could see why it would just be out of bounds. They end up calling the offensive foul with the defender kind of staying down low. You had the drive in, O'Leary just kind of keeps her hands low, didn't really stand up and take it, but they still call the offensive foul.
Evelyn Steele checked in for Salisbury as Robinson drove through. It seemed like Jen Juring was rather displeased about something as she worked her way back up across midcourt.
It seemed like that they had a little bit miscommunication with Abby Plogger, they were running man-to-man here, but more of a backcourt when they're running that full court press, being a zone coverage and a fallout in the zone lets Washington College run right up the court.
Nice interception by Jen Juring there to put the Seagulls in transition. Here's Katura Stewart near the quarter mark line. And now Salisbury kicking back out to Stewart at 3-point, now back out to another 3-point attempt that rings off the top iron. That was Evelyn Steele, I believe, that tried to get her first 3-pointer of her Seagull career. She hit a field goal from earlier on in the contest to get her first points. 2 on the day for the 6'4" freshman. 3 minutes gone here in the third quarter as Robinson drives in past Steele. Trying to underhand layup through the contact. Doesn't go. Robinson to the line.
And if Salisbury can continue to get big days as the season goes on from a couple of these players like Plogger and like Stewart, who Plogger was on a team last year but only averaged 5 points a game. She already has 14 today. Stewart obviously transferred from community college to community college and then over to Salisbury. So if they could get a couple of offensive chances and get those players rolling, plus get Miller and a couple of players who might not have the best day today so far, as getting back to shape. There's an air ball on the free throw, 0 for 6 now for Robinson from the line. If they could get them going, this could be a high-powered offense we'll see this winter.
Salisbury gets that high-powered offense going here. Here's Bullock and Stewart in the backcourt. One-handed bounce pass to Plogger, gets it back to Stewart. Stewart driving in inside of the 3-point arc. Now Plogger outside of it. Ball pass to Stewart, three-pointer for the bench. Green bean. Katura Stewart, another three.
Katura Stewart, we talked about how she's getting those points, but she's really getting them from inside, showing that she can do it from both ends of the court, shooting way outside from the perimeter, turning around and celebrating with her bench.
There's a three-point attempt for Washington College, and they knock it down. Peyton Berger able to fire from distance.
Coming right back at you, fire on fire. Three-pointers back to back in a matter of 10 seconds.
The first of the day for Washington College. They were 0 for 2 from three-point land before that.
Yeah, they've been trying to run really fast, getting that small amount, getting that guard play, but they've been going inside a lot, almost like you see from a big, tall team.
Katura Stewart from three, just a little bit too strong, goes off the back iron and reflects all the way out to Meredith, who rebounds.
That's arguably as close as you can get to of a miss before it goes in. So nearly three in a row there for Stewart.
Now sizing down is Boggs in the paint. And the foul. So Boggs will again go to the line. Evelyn Steele has really been a force in front of the net, whether it be being able to try and jostle for any rebounds, but also namely in committing fouls, because she's got 3 on the day so far, and especially against a pretty good free throw shooter in Boggs so far today, you got to be a little bit more careful about who you're running into down underneath the net.
Yeah, and for Salisbury, she is your big center, 6'4". You don't want her getting into foul trouble and having to play smaller than what she is.
Mid-range jumper from Meredith after Katura Stewart was out of position. She really tried to intercept that pass and go on a breakaway. Sometimes when you do that, your over-aggressiveness will bite you back. In that case, it almost did. Meredith had a wide open look to pull up from just outside the paint. As Bullock will check back at the bench. Looks like just maybe jammed her finger a little bit, has to get it taped up a little. Washington College will have the inbound when we go back to play. Peyton Berger will have possession. Bullock, we've talked about it really all throughout that first half. Just what a story for her to be able to come back to the level that she has so far, and really both on the scoring side and on the defensive side. 3 rebounds so far for the senior. As they'll probably call a foul on Bullock. She was really kind of boxing out her counterpart in Robinson. Or no, they'll call it on Plogger. The junior pleading her case.
And it's been a little bit chippy in this second half. I've noticed a couple of off-ball contacts are a little bit unnecessary. Surprised they called this one on Plogger. I thought for sure it was going to be on Bullock, who was backing her defender down and her opponent nearly all the way out to Devilbiss Hall. So I was expecting for it to be on Bullock, and they might call it now.
Well, this will be interesting because they subbed out Plogger for Inacio.
Well, they subbed out Plogger because that foul would give her number 4 on the day, I do believe.
Exactly. It looks like they'll converse with the scorers table too.
They have the live stream up. Maybe they're going to, video replay. We've seen it in football and in lacrosse. Maybe they now have it here in Mags.
So kind of a...
That is what they're doing. Look at that. We're going to be on TV.
That is a kind of obscure timeout now that both of these teams kind of have. They will call in both teams will call in all of their players, 2 coaching staffs who know what they're talking about in terms of experience. As we'll await the change, but you talk about the head coach in Mosley for Washington College, her 12th overall season. Meanwhile, on the opposite side for Salisbury, April Preller-Guy, she's now in her 3rd season with the Maroon and Gold, but it's about who comes back to be her ACs. You got Anna Hackett, the newly enshrined SU Hall of Famer as of the class of 2025, and also Alex Bull, the senior from last year who graduated, one of the 3 all-conference members that the Salisbury team had, a second-teamer in her own right, coming back to join the assistant coaching staff of Salisbury. As here's Boggs' second free throw attempt, and it goes off, caroms away into the awaiting arms of Evelyn Steele.
Yeah, and we see that from a lot of sports. I mean, football on their coaching staff, has a couple of first-team All-Americans from last season. So coming back to the program to then go into the coaching ranks after you were just a player is huge for a team and keeping that chemistry up.
There's a mid-range pull-up. Nadia Bullock on the rebound afterwards, just not able to finish. Boggs tried to get the defensive rebound, and she's beside herself, pleading her case to the side judge. It looked like contact between her and Katura Stewart.
And Stewart kind of can run her way around the taller Caitlin Boggs, running a little bit quickly and a little bit faster. As there's a media timeout, it looks like, maybe?
Oh, either way, yeah. So they'll call it a media timeout. It was a little bit preemptive, but even still, Salisbury 46 to Washington College's 27, especially when you consider last season Washington College was able to sweep the Salisbury women's basketball team through 2 games. This is a little bit surprising here in this first half, but when you think about what the season could be for Salisbury, maybe it's not as surprising looking at this high-powered, high-octane offense that they have.
Yeah, high-powered, huge amounts of offense, and they had the defense from last year. You watch those games, they were streaky because of that offense. They were at ebbs and flows on the offensive side of the ball. Now that they're going into a season where they're excited, they got Katura Stewart now, who really facilitates this offense extremely well, as we've seen starting in her first game here at SU. And you look at the schedule coming up, this could be an extremely exciting season if we have a high-powered offense. You play York College, and then you play in that York College Invitational, and then you play Penn State Abington, and then the Governor's Challenge. So you could have a 6-0 start based off of who you got coming up looking throughout the ledger.
Less than 5 minutes to go here in quarter number 3, as Katura Stewart will be the one to inbound for the Seagulls. One-handed possession. Now she has it. Salisbury has 29 to shoot. Inacio now to Stewart. Stewart towards the top, kick it back out to Inacio. Now underneath and Evelyn Steele. Steele looking for an outlet pass to Stewart. She's got it. And it looks like they'll call Evelyn Steele too much time in the paint.
No, just a little kick ball there, I believe. Maybe a foul.
Okay, so that's the 4th foul for Caitlin Boggs. That'll take her out for the time being. So that's major in its own right. Here's Katura Stewart, pull-up mid-range jumper just off the iron, and it caroms away.
Yeah, though Boggs has been held in check, you can't really be too happy if you're Washington College that your best point scorer and arguably your best defenseman, 8 blocks against the Seagulls last year, is now out for a majority of the rest of the game with 4.
Nice block by Evelyn Steele underneath the cage. You talk about that. She's 6'4". She's been the tallest player that Salisbury has had ever since dating back to our latest, or our oldest roster, I should say. There's a 3-pointer from Stewart that goes off the mark, but she's the tallest player that this Salisbury University women's basketball program has ever recorded. As the whistle blows the play dead there, but that's something that you can't ignore. Having a 6'4" player able to really excel in blocking and also rebounding as well. That can help really secure possessions for you. If you miss, you got the rebound. And if you block it or you steal it, then you can start your own possession and take away a possession from the other side.
Yeah, and if she's going to be able to play on that defensive end, you don't even have to worry too much about, rotating and getting some help on a player like the 6'2" Boggs on the other side for Washington College. You can just say, Evelyn, you're going to play man-to-man on her, and good luck. And you can trust that Steele is going to win that battle, and then it almost takes away a key part of the offense, because that center position is so key when it comes to backing down the defender, getting easy layups, as well as getting those second chance points on the offensive rebound.
So Nadia Bullock will substitute out for Jen Juring, who now takes place on the court right next to number 10 in black and white in Maggie Lawrence. We'll have a very delayed free throw attempt from Emma Robinson after we get this confusion cleared up. Salisbury will take a little bit of a timeout there towards the top of the foul line to talk some things over on this next play. Seagull fans, every game has a winner, and with Jersey Mike's My Mike's rewards, that winner could be you. Earn points with every sub and turn them into free food fast. Visit us on North or South Salisbury Boulevard, or stop by Cambridge, Seaford, or South Salisbury or Millsboro. Fresh sliced, piled high, and always made to order, Jersey Mike's is proud to fuel Salisbury University athletics. Join My Mike's today, and let's go Goals. As Robinson comes back to the charity stripe, she'll throw up her first, and it bounces around and out.
0 for 7 on the day now for Robinson.
You've seen the frustration after some of the shots. Here's number 8, and again she misses. Now Salisbury looking to go back to the left. 46-27 Seagull lead. Here's Nicole Miller in three-point land. Miller drives into the paint. Kicks out. Three-point attempt from Inacio!
Big shot there from Inacio. Something in the second half you've noticed, and also building off of the first half, is now you have a lot of players who have shown that they can make those three-pointers, and boom, once again, right back at them.
So after Inacio gets her very first collegiate three-point attempt and shot I should say, on her third attempt of the game, Miller tried to lay it up, and it does not go, but Abby Meredith responding right on back with a good shot of her own to put the Seagulls up 49-30. Nicole Miller will go to the line for the first time today.
And Meredith does know how to shoot the ball from three. 34%, which, going off of, if you've never played basketball before, we're like, 34% from three-pointer, that's not great. Well, the average is about 28 to 30%, so above average three-point shooter for this Shore women's team.
So Miller knocks down her first free throw attempt. She shot 78% from the charity stripe last year, and now 100% so far in 2025-26 through her first two attempts in the season opener. Puts the Seagulls up 51-30 with 3:15 to go in the third quarter. Salisbury collapsing on the ball carriers so far. Still running that full court press defense that we've seen all throughout the first half. Maybe that's the identity. The downside of that is that your players will get tired eventually. You can't have that for an entire game without making some substitutions. And that's why we've been able to see so many Seagulls come in. They've had, count this up, 3, 4, 5, 6. They've had 6 total substitutes so far. So basically like a whole second line and then one extra.
Yeah, so the fact that they can keep rotating those reserves in and those bench players, and they still have 3 more that have yet to jump into the game, you could keep those legs completely fresh and not have to worry about having too many tired bodies. Especially, we've seen them take the workload and do just as fine, the players off the bench, as compared to the starters.
Based on my account, you have Sayudi Penaranda, Faith Ray, Abby Switzer, and Samantha Shively as the 4 Seagulls who have not checked into the game so far. Here's Nicole Miller on the near side wing. She'll work it around her defender, pass over to Nieberline. Now Lilly orchestrates the offense towards midcourt. Nieberline gets it. A little bit of an exchange on the handoff there. Nicole Miller's three-point attempt off the front iron. You only had 7 seconds to shoot left if you were Nicole Miller. You had to try and rush it a little bit. Now Washington College gets a full 30 on the turnover. Here's an attempt from Carter Soriano. Now instead we'll pass underneath to O'Leary, who drives in through the contact. Won't count it, but she'll send to the line. Nieberline on the foul. O'Leary will go to the free throw line looking for her first conversion of the day, 0 for 2 so far in the season opener for the sophomore forward from Willow Grove.
And the only thing you can really say about this Salisbury team that maybe they can improve on is those foul numbers. I mean, we know how Washington College is at the free throw line, so it's not hurting you too much. But against a better free throw shooting team, you could have 14 more points given up just at the stripe, and this game's a whole different ballgame.
High arcing shots from O'Leary. Neither of them can convert. Keeps the score as is, 51-32.
28 free throws for Washington College. So
here's Bullock on the three-point attempt. It won't go. Looks like they'll call a foul on a very upset Sarah O'Leary.
O'Leary now with 3, so your two centers, your two bigs with 3 and 4 fouls apiece.
I think they both have 4, at least they're throwing it up on the scoreboard. That goes down as O'Leary's 4th total. Here's a fast break attempt for Washington College. They'll slow down instead of going one-on-one with Miller. Kick out, Miller chases down on the chase down defense. Now here's a 3-point attempt from Washington College. Bounces off the back on the shot by Taylor Shane. Now Kisa Lilly looking to try and play keep away. Nicole Miller now working it across midcourt. 2 minutes to go in the third. Lilly calls the play again. She's really been kind of the play caller. Here's Nadia Bullock for 3. A little bit too sharp of an angle. It goes directly off the front of the basket. Now here goes Carter Soriano. She'll throw up a 3, and it caroms off. Again, just a little bit too short. Nicole Miller will sub out. Abby Plogger will sub back in as Jen Juring prepares to re-inbound for the Maroon and Gold.
Plogger now entering with 4 fouls. She's been your best offensive player today, but 1 more foul and her day is done.
Now Berger will inbound for Washington College. Minute 35. Here's the shot from Washington College. It goes just off. They continue to try and call the number of Emma Robinson. Robin so far, though, only 1 for 3. Make that 1 for 4 from the field. It's part of a pretty tough offensive day. She does have 9 total rebounds, though, as well as 3 assists. Just not able to score it herself so far through these first 3 quarters. Now with 1:15 to go, Salisbury has a buzzer beater in each of the first 2 quarters. Can they get another one here? They have 7 on the shot clock. Bullock driving in, trying to back down her defender. Bullock, the one-handed layup. She's got it!
The off-balance layup, keeping your head on a swivel and knowing exactly where that rim is. Great job by Bullock.
Wasn't exactly a game clock buzzer beater, but it was a shot clock buzzer beater. Only 1 to go for Nadia Bullock, and she got it just in the nick of time, as now checking in is Faith Ray, the 5'7" freshman from Lewis, Delaware, the Cape Henlopen graduate. Checking in as we might have a chance at seeing basketball bingo here. Only 3 more players for Salisbury to check in before they officially have everybody in. Of course, barring any potential injuries that we don't know about. There's a nice mid-range pull-up jumper from Taylor Shane. Here's Ray, long-range pass to Bullock. She'll slow it down and get it collided with, and the fans are not happy at all about that through the contact against Nadia Bullock. Washington College trying to take advantage of a jumbled up Salisbury defense. 16 seconds on the game clock, and that will turn the ball back over to Salisbury after tumbling out of bounds with possession of the basketball was Ellie Carter Soriano.
Yeah, and on that Bullock shot, it was blocked. They did get a hand on it, but then a little bit of a hip check afterwards is probably what the fans were most upset about. You saw Coach Guy also upset down the sideline.
9.9 seconds remaining on the game clock here in the third quarter, as Washington College will get to inbound just shy of the midcourt line. They'll instead pass it back. 9 on the clock. Now take it down to 5. Here's Robinson driving in. Robinson, the layup, trying to find a pass instead. Plogger intercepts it, though. I don't think they're going to have a chance here. Plogger had a buzzer beater to end the second, but she was at midcourt when the buzzer sounded, so elected to just hold on to it. And you're up 53-34.
Save that field goal percentage,
Why not? But a very good start in the first 3 quarters here. You can throw up the 4s. We're going to the fourth quarter here at Mag's Physical Activity Center. Salisbury up 53-34 over their War on the Shore rival in Washington College, AJ.
Yeah, and good offensive performance. You've gotten it from many different players. I believe both Katura Stewart and Plogger in double figures. Nieberlein 2 baskets away. She's got 6. So you could potentially have 3 players in double figures by the end of this game, something that you weren't quite expecting to see from this Salisbury team, the way they played defense in the past and have had their struggles on the offense and their ebbs and flows. Today, they have shown absolutely nothing of that. 53 points in the first 3 quarters, and you got to expect even more. But you can't take that foot off the gas, because Washington College, though they're 19 points away, they can score on you quickly, especially once they put Boggs back in. Right now, Caitlin Boggs off the court with 4 fouls. I'd expect to see her in right at the jump here, because Washington College needs to get something going. They need to get it going right at the start of the period.
Fans, game day just got tastier with Royal Farms' brand new special, the Tailgater. For just $20, you'll score big with 8 pieces of our world-famous fried chicken, a heaping family-sized order of golden western fries made from real Idaho potatoes, 4 fluffy buttermilk biscuits, and a giant 64-ounce Snapple tea to wash it down. Whether you are tailgating in the stadium lot or in your own backyard, Royal Farms has the winning play. Royal Farms, real fresh, real fast. 10 minutes to go here in the season opener. Salisbury's looking good. 53-34 is how the score stands right now. Washington College will get possession of the basketball with Maggie Lawrence standing at midcourt.
I am surprised with the foul trouble and the lead that you have that Abby Plogger is still in the game. She's at 4 fouls, and barring some huge comeback, you might need her near the end of the game. So having her when you have this 19-point lead at the beginning of the quarter is a little bit surprising from Coach Gott.
Here's a drive underneath by Andretti. She's got the one-hand layup and finished through. Add 2 more to Washington College. Now down 53-36. Faith Ray works it across midcourt. Nicole Miller on the handoff. Plogger on the initial screen attempt instead elects to vacate it. Now here's Jen Juring driving in against Robinson. Now looking for a bounce-out pass to get away. Plogger can't keep it alive. Instead, it's dug up by Meredith as the Washington College Shorewomen go the other way. They might have numbers if they hurry. Robinson able to knock it down.
Good left-handed layup there from Robinson, taking the extra step and dribble down to the left side and using that left hand to put it to go. Washington College gets 4 points extremely quickly.
That breaks a long streak for Emma Robinson. She was 1 for 4 before then, now 2 for 5 as the mid-range pull-up attempt from Salisbury's Evelyn Steele goes unanswered. Now Juring, 19 on the shot clock. Abby Plogger's three-pointer goes too far off the back iron. Faith Ray will knock it out. Or it'll actually go off of a Shorewomen defender. They'll sub out Faith Ray for Katura Stewart. Stewart passes in, gets it right on back, drives into the paint, the one-handed left hand, not able to get it down. Now Robinson and the Shorewomen go the other way. They got a wide open look, and able to get the lay-in is Taylor Shane.
And a little bit slow to get back there. Katura Stewart and Nicole Miller were a little bit slow getting to that backcourt, and it allows them to make a run and make another basket. A 6-0 run here for the Shorewomen, hoping on these free throws, Stewart can end that run.
Katura Stewart sitting at 3 for 4. She's been the best free throw shooter for the Seagulls today. That's not saying much. You've only had 3 people. Nicole Miller, of course, hitting both of hers so far, but she's hit the most free throw attempts so far, 3 for 4 for the junior. Here's shot number 5 and make it 4 for 5.
And free throws are a big mentality when you come to a team. You need to make these from the stripe. I remember when I was back playing high school basketball, we couldn't leave practice until you made 10 in a row. So you needed to make those free throws. You needed to practice that, because when it comes down to it, you have to convert from the line. And you've seen it today. Look at how the conversion has been for Salisbury as opposed to Washington College. And that shows what this game is about. Salisbury, 6 for 9 from the line, 66%. Washington College, 10 for 28. So missing 18 of their 28 free throws for the Shore women is a big reason why they're down 15.
Yeah, and how about that, though? That's a staggering number. 28 attempts for Washington College. You talked about it a little bit before, AJ. You can't have that many free throws allowed because a team who even hits half of those is going to have 14 free points. So you can't really give up 14 free points to anybody, let alone Washington College, because we're seeing them start to go on a little bit of a run right now because they feel like they have the wind in their sails. Of course, Katura Stewart was able to kind of break those up with back-to-back free throw hits to make it a 15-point contest, but you still have 8.25 minutes left in this contest that you can't take your foot off the gas. You have to continue going as high-paced offense as possible, continue implementing that full-court press defense that has worked so well in limiting this Washington College offense if you want to try and come out with a victory here.
And you know that 12-year veteran coach on the other side, Alicia Mosley, is going to make those adjustments, and it seems like they may have made it on the offensive end. Now get back to your roots and play that defense that we're so accustomed to seeing from Washington College.
Here's Shane. Shane will pass it over to Lawrence. And now eventually trying to find an underneath route pass to Meredith before she gets contacted with just outside of the paint. Remy Tolar will be tagged with the foul as Amaya Cash will check in and inbound the pass for Washington College. She'll pass it out to Robinson, who gets it started at the top. Now Cash by her bench. Amaya Cash working against Nicole Miller. And now here comes Meredith, looking for her wide open look, and says she gets switched on to by Miller. Meredith going past the Nieberline screen. She puts up a shot as the shot clock was almost expiring. There were 3 ticks left remaining. And now Washington College kind of implementing a full court press defense as Amaya Cash tries to cover Katura Stewart, and Stewart hits the deck. They'll check on her, and she really took a tumble.
Yeah, clipped there. Cash just kind of bodied her with the hip check. It will be a common foul throw in for Salisbury, but really slows down the offense and forces them to have to play that half court, which so far, Washington College, when Salisbury's not in transition, it's been a little bit more of tough sledding for that offense as opposed to when they're running and moving and going with that quick tempoed offense.
Now here's Plogger getting hounded in the back corner by the Seagull bench. It looks like they'll say that she stepped out.
Yeah, you can't go into the corner there, especially with a player like Plogger, whose her main forte is that jump shot. You can't go into the corner with 2 defenders around the swarmer because that exactly can happen. You freak out, you get a little bit too much happy feet. Usually you see a travel from that corner, this time just stepping out of bounds.
Amaya Cash gets broken up by Nicole Miller. A little backstep fadeaway there by Shane. Goes a little bit too short before Washington College eventually able to put it back. Nice job there by the Shore women to not let the play die. Here's Tolar working past the scorer's table. Tries to loft it forward to Nieberline. Now Miller, one-on-one against Cash. Miller will back up a little bit and retreat. Now drive forward and it gets pickpocketed. Amaya Cash now has Meredith to Cash. She bobbles it. And it'll go back to Salisbury. Nice job by Katura Stewart to get back on the defensive end on the 2-on-1.
And a game of mistakes, and that one, just a little bit of a bobble, 2-on-1. Katura Stewart doing all she can, but she was beat. All you had to do was catch the ball and take that layup. But luckily for Salisbury, it makes it an easy layup or they miss the easy conversion, and it will be a turnover, and Salisbury comes back with possession without giving up those crucial 2 points.
Stewart putting on a clinic against Meredith, trying to get around her this time. Here's Stewart. One-on-one to Meredith. She'll test her. The contact. No foul call, but it'll go down as a layup regardless. Katura Stewart, another proper finish. Put her in a team lead, 16 total points for the junior in her Seagull debut. She averaged 16 back in her freshman year at Jamestown Community College back in New York. Had a little bit of a down year last year, averaging 4 for Cowley College. A little bit of layup there for Shane, too strong. Stewart will fight for it against Emma Robinson. The call will go in favor We'll see. It looks like it'll go in favor of Salisbury. Nadia Bullock will go back to inbound.
And I am truly surprised that you haven't seen Caitlin Boggs enter this game again. Washington College has had their a little bit more success on the offensive end without their best offensive player in there. Now we're getting close to the halfway point of the fourth quarter. You need Boggs to get back in this game if you're going to stand a chance.
Here's Miller, the one-handed lay, not able to get it through two defenders. And they'll call the offensive foul, though, so it would have been dead regardless. Put the ball back in the hands of Washington College. Bullock heavily guarding Robinson, who gets possession. Full court defense on full court defense. This time, Washington College weaves right on through, not able to get a proper shot.
And that's completely fine. A lot of momentum heading towards that basket. An easy layup for Emma Robinson, but now that you fouled her, the 29% career free throw shooter who's 0 for 8 on the day from the line now has to shoot two of the most important free throws for Washington College.
She does have 11 rebounds, so one on her second attempt, she might try and shoot it off the front of the iron. As that one misses, counted now 0 for 9 total attempts. Now on the decade mark, we'll see what she elects to do. If she's going to try and be up there for the rebound or if she'll try and get a point back. That's the one that she makes. Now 1 for 10.
Whatever she tried, she did end up making it. Little note there, if you're not really taking out the stat sheet, Kayla Nieberlein is now fouled out of the game on that.
Now here comes Bullock, working on Robinson. 57-43, Salisbury women's basketball. Here's Katura Stewart on the exchange, working against Meredith. She'll drive in. Katura Stewart through the contact, not able to get it down. She'll go to the line.
Really late whistle there from the referee. It wasn't until that ball nearly hit the ground that he called for the foul. Surprised that they ended up calling it too, with Katura Stewart getting to her right hand. She already did that from the left side, so being able to use both hands for the junior transfer is what makes her so dangerous.
Had another one on the day of the debut for Katura Stewart. And another one. An exceptional day for Stewart from the line. Now count that as 7 for 8 from the free throw stripe. Only missing the one that came in her first 4 shots. Here's Robinson laying up and with the left hand finish. Pulls Washington College back and gives them 2. Less than 5 minutes remaining now in the fourth.
Ooh, you can't turn the ball over on the inbound. Not what you want to see when you're up big. You want to just keep those possessions for nearly the whole 30-second shot clock. You want to keep those possessions, whittle away that clock, and if you're going to turn the ball over on the inbound, Washington College now changing it at full court pressure, it's going to be, they're trying to create those turnovers, and they did it there.
Here's Abby Meredith going against Steele. Meredith walking down Evelyn Steele, calling for the play, pass over to Shane. Shane underneath, tries to connect with Marcella Ortiz, and it's turnover.
Not entirely sure how that mismatch. Katura Stewart, the 5'4" guard, playing on Marcella Ortiz, the 5'10" forward, but it works out because of the not soft hands from Ortiz.
There is Miller trying to go up for the layup through the contact, so she'll go to the line. Run that down as another foul on the freshman guard in Amaya Cash. Nicole Miller to the line. Perfect so far, 2 for 2. Now make that 2 for 3. Blogger will go and offer words of encouragement. Miller and Stewart, the only ones who have hit a free throw so far. Nadia Bullock was 0 for 2 as the only other Seagull with free throw throws to attempt. 60-45, Seagulls back up 15, 4:15 remaining. Fast-paced offense for Washington College. Meredith on the layup, and with the foul.
Great job. Abby Plogger drawing the offensive foul. In disbelief is the Mary Washington guard. really good self-awareness to know I'm going to draw this foul. Instead of trying to just stop the fast-paced offense, I'm just going to sit there and take the offensive foul, laying the body on the line and causing the turnover. And those are going to be deadly for this Washington College team as they get down with under 4 minutes left, and they're down already double digits.
And that kind of goes back to the very first quarter when Washington College had so many points and drives killed by offensive fouls. And now here's another opportunity for the Seagulls, Jen Juring and Katura Stewart to drive forward. Stewart trying to work around heavy Meredith defense. Eventually finds Plogger. Plogger now trying to back down Shane. Now Miller's turn against Cash. It's almost broken up by the combination of Robinson and Juring. Juring driving forward underneath the basket, and she'll let it roll.
2 seconds on the shot clock.
Yeah, not sure how much they're going to be able to do this unless Stewart maybe just underhands it towards the basket like a layup.
Well, 2 seconds, you can catch and shoot. It gives you enough time, but really a great possession for Salisbury all around. Took all 30 seconds, and you still have an opportunity to score.
All right. Stewart tries to loft it. It's touched by Steele, and that'll kill it. Washington College gets possession anyway. Now here's Robinson to Meredith. Meredith to Robinson, now tries for a loft underneath. There's Boggs. You wondered where she was. She's showing up within 3:30.
She enters in the game with 4 minutes left. I mean, you got to trust the veteranship of Coach Alicia Mosley, and she chooses to put her senior captain, top point scorer on the team in with 4 minutes left. She instantly makes an impact on the first offensive possession.
And you talk about how Boggs is in foul trouble, as is Abby Meredith, the player who's really been out there for the entirety of the fourth quarter and throughout the rest of this contest when Boggs was out. So now maybe Washington College feeling a little bit of pressure. It's do or die time now within the Final Four. You have a 13-point deficit that you're fighting back from, 60-47 in favor of Salisbury. As we want to give a special thank you to Rody Joe's in downtown Salisbury. They feature weekly entertainment including trivia, karaoke, comedy shows, and dueling pianos. They are also home of Salisbury's award-winning wings. Check out what they have going on each week on their events page at rodyjoes.com. Under Armour is the official outfitter of Salisbury University women's basketball and of Salisbury University athletics. Protect this house. The Under Armour-clad Seagulls will go back out there against Washington College, who is on the verge of being stunned here in the season opener, especially considering last season when Washington College swept the Seagulls in 2 games. It was a 50-39 victory for the Shore women in game number 1 last year in the season opener in Chestertown before a neutral site matchup where they beat the Seagulls 56-44 in the Messiah tip-off tournament 4 games later. Here's Jen Juring. Now Abby Plogger towards the top. Seagulls running a little bit of a circling offense, and that draws contact from Taylor Shane. And with Salisbury in the bonus, even though that was not a shooting foul, they will be able to send Abby Plogger to the free throw line. First of the day for the junior, and she knocks it down.
Now it's time for Salisbury to just make those free throws. Control what you can control. Got to convert at least 1 for 2 every time you go to the line.
And she knocks down both. Count it, 12 of 16 for Salisbury as a team from the charity stripe. That's something that they hammer down in practice, AJ, as you mentioned, and it's really showing now. It's looking very good for them. You have 2 players who only missed once, Nadia Bullock 0 for 2, but aside from that, you've hit every other shot.
Yeah, if you're going to give a team 16 free points, if you can convert on 75% of those, that is the recipe for winning. As they're going to go right back to the line again here on the foul by Taylor Shane.
And we're within 3 minutes here in the final quarter of action in the Salisbury women's basketball season and home opener. Abby Plogger will go back to the line after hitting both of her previous free throw attempts. Here's number 3. She's got it. Plogger last season shot 78% from the free throw line and still 100% so far in 2025. Now run it to 64-47. Kaylin Eberlein's fouled out. Abby Plogger with 4 on the verge of it. Here's Robinson. Gets broken up and swatted away by Katura Stewart. And she'll take a second to talk to the student managers for the women's basketball team at the scorer's table as she went out of play on that one. 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining as Washington College will begin with the inbound from Peyton Berger at midcourt. Meredith out to receive. 3-point attempt from Washington College off the front iron. Carter Soriano tried to hit. 0 for 2 day for Carter Soriano, the freshman guard from Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. Here's Nicole Miller. Miller driving in, kick back out to Katura Stewart. Stewart retreating, sensing the offense and the defensive scheme. 2:09, 3-point shot. Too strong off the backboard. Nicole Miller on the defensive rebound, though. Not enough time on the shot clock. It did not hit the rim, so there was no shot clock reset. And the rebound was just so sharp that there wasn't really enough that Salisbury could do with the amount of time that they had left.
Yeah, and I don't think Miller really clocked that the ball did not hit the rim. She kind of took it, didn't quite take it out, but didn't have an urgency to put it right back up as soon as she got it. Maybe didn't quite realize, as that's going to be Plogger's 5th foul.
So she will check out, the second Seagull to be fouled out in the season opening contest. Caitlin Boggs will head to the line. And Boggs misses the first one. Previously, she was 3 for 8, the best of Washington College free throw shooters. And she misses the second one, too. 0 for 2 on that free throw exchange from our player to watch in Caitlin Boggs.
Make it 11 for 32 now.
Now here's Miller. Out to Plogger at the top. So she stays in the game. She has one more foul to give before she fouls out. Here's Miller. Miller driving in.
For the rest of this shot clock. 5 seconds left.
Plogger, 5. Now down to 3. Here's a 3-point attempt in front of the Seagull bench. Evelyn Steele. She got one a little bit earlier on. Not able to get one there. Now going coast to coast for Washington College. They get the rebound, so they got to try and make something happen. The final minute coming up. Evelyn Steele on the defensive rebound. But the turnover will give Washington College another chance.
So Plogger's still in the game. They must have, remember when they went back to the booth and were wondering, they must have switched that over, but didn't switch it on our stats. So Plogger with 4 fouls.
As is Evelyn Steele now with 4 fouls.
Because they switched it over.
Yes. A very quick conversion there from Ellie Carter Soriano, not wasting any time at the free throw line. She's 1 for 1, and 1 for 2 now is how it will stay. Final minutes tick away here. Nicole Miller driving through with the contact and the foul.
Fighting through the contact. Miller getting up there in points now, trying to kind of go match for match, say, hey, I am still one of our top offensive players, showing what she can do, looking for her 6th point here at the line.
Miller 3 for 5 from the free throw line, was 3 for 4 before the and 1 missed. Now Robinson, 49 remaining. Washington College with not a lot of time as Plogger tried to keep that one alive. Goes crowd surfing for a second as Berger took the play out, and she will bring it back in. Connects with Abby Meredith. 45. Meredith against Stewart. Now Meredith trying to drive in on the jab step. The mid-range floater, too strong. 35 seconds remaining. And Stewart will probably just run this one out as much as they can. Jen Juring with possession. No, they'll go for one more offensive possession. Plogger tries to lay it up. It does hit the rim, so set to 20. And the foul will put the Seagulls at the line for 2 more shots, and Nicole Miller at the line for 2 more shots. The shot clock goes dark for the final time here in the season opener, as the Seagulls lead 66-48 over Washington College, with a potential for 2 more from Nicole Miller. Marcela Ortiz checks in. And Miller knocks down the first one. For Salisbury, after this contest, you move on, and with a 1-0 record, you then go to take on the rest of your schedule, as that one rattles around and in for Nicole Miller. But you go against the Coaches versus Cancer Invitational hosted by York College coming up in York, Pennsylvania. Final 10 seconds tick away. 68-48, 20-point lead for the Maroon and Gold. Washington College looking for something to take on the road with them. The mid-range floater in the paint goes awry, and the final buzzer sounds in the season opener. The Seagulls win game number 1.
And what a game for Salisbury on both the defensive and offensive end, only giving up the 48 points to Washington College, but against a top defense from last season, putting up 68 points. Only twice last year did you score more than 68 points in a game, and you do it in opening night.
So Salisbury opens the season 1-0, and next they will travel to York College of Pennsylvania for the Coaches versus Cancer Classic, as I was just talking about, on November 14th through the 15th. That's a tournament featuring SU, York College, Waynesburg, and William Patterson. SU versus York will be the semifinal game number 1. Waynesburg versus William Patterson in semifinal 2, with a consolation third place game and a championship game happening the very next day on Saturday. Washington College, they dropped to 0-1. They'll have to try and continue their way through the rest of this season. They will next play at home in Chestertown on November 11th against Penn State Abington. As for us, we thank you for watching this presentation of Salisbury University Athletics and Salisbury University Women's Basketball on the Seagull Sports Network. Special shout out to our executive producer, who has been Will DeBoer, our camera operator, shout out to AJ Sonato, and our computer technician in Ashton Combs. For my partner, AJ Polcari, and myself, Mike Greco, we are saying so long from Mag's Physical Activity Center. Game number 1, we do have one immediately after this between Salisbury University men's basketball and Stockton University. You can tune right back in. I'll be with my man to my left and Sean McChrystal. But as far for us, we will say so long, and we will say see you next time. Today's final score, once again, Salisbury with a massive 68-48 victory to start the 2025 season undefeated. This has been Salisbury Women's Basketball on the Seagull Sports.